Today, we're going to set up the Google Calendar with Vapi. I'm going to show you some of the problems that I've had and am still having, and what I'm going to do to fix those problems. If you are using voice AI agents or you want to use voice AI agents, this is for you. I have just learned how to set up voice AI agents, and one of the things that I believe for 2026 that's going to be very big is having a voice AI agent on your site. So that's what I was working on doing. And I'm going to share my screen in just a few minutes and go over this. But first, I wanted to walk you through exactly what it is that I was trying to do and how this works, basically. So let's see. Let's go to the next slide here. So what you're going to learn today is the critical mistake that I made, which is something that cost me about 12 hours to figure out and a lot of frustration, and it's still not figured out. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do to change that so that I can get this up and running and on this new site. The step-by-step instructions that connect the Google Calendar to Vapi on your first attempt. So one of the things that I did learn is how not to do this and how to do this. And I think a lot of times with setting these things up, you learn by screwing them up first or messing them up first or making a lot of mistakes. And then you realize, okay, that wasn't the way to do this. So if you are just learning these things, one of the things I can tell you is to set up like test accounts on Gmail and be able to use those test accounts before you actually use your real account. And that seems double the work. And yes, it is double the work because you're doing it twice. But the first time you do it, you're going to make some major mistakes. So you don't want to make major mistakes with the account that you want to use. Hidden pitfalls that you're going to come up against are why the connected status, when it says connected, doesn't guarantee that it's going to function. So this is what happened to me. The connected status didn't work. And this is something that is a technical difficulty in a lot of things. It'll say it's working on the outside, but then all of a sudden, it's not working. So, how are you going to reset this? How are you going to get through this? And also, what are you going to do to continue to troubleshoot, but move on? And I'm going to share all of that with you right now on my screen. We're in Vapi. I would recommend that you start this with a Gmail account that you're using to test, not a Gmail account that you're going to use, because you probably will make this mistake as well. Or if you don't make a mistake like this, you'll make something else as a mistake. I will say to you that the setup on this to get ready for it is not difficult. You just have to think through exactly what you want people to experience when they are on your site. Let's go here to assistants. And there are assistants here that you can use. They have one assistant here that works, that is already set up. And you can see the model right here. Open this and it says model. You'll see that there is a system prompt. And the system prompt tells the assistant exactly what to say, exactly when to say it, how to say it, and what information they're going to need for booking this call. If you're doing things like booking calls or you're taking emails or you have a free course and you want a voice AI for that free course, this would be a great way to do that so that the voice AI sounds like a real person. Let me just play this to you so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about and you'll understand.
Thank you for calling Wellness Partners. This is Riley, your scheduling assistant. How may I help you today?
Hi, Riley. I'd like to schedule a call, an appointment.
Of course, I'd be happy to help you schedule an appointment. What type of appointment are you looking to schedule today?
Just a regular checkup.
Great, a regular checkup. Do you have a specific provider you'd like to see, or would you prefer the first available appointment?
Just the first available appointment.
Got it. First available it is. Have you visited our clinic before?
No.
Or will this be... Thanks for letting me know. Welcome.
You can see how this works, and you can see the call transcript here on the right-hand side, and then you can see the system prompt right here, what Riley is prompted to say. This is something that I believe is going to be more popular and more popular on websites as we progress, because AI is now becoming more ubiquitous and people are using it more and more, especially to search. In addition to, if they're searching for you and they do find you and you happen to come up in the recommendations, then what happens after that? How well is your site going to adhere or allow the customer to segue into the next part of their search, which is finding out about you. If they go to a static website that is just text, is that going to be a bounce, meaning they're going to just jump off? Or will you have something that's engaging on the site? Get your free download or talk to my assistant to find out more about how I can help you. Or do you want to sign up for our community or something like that, right? Especially with healthcare, this is a big part of healthcare because a lot of people have an urgent need. My back hurts, my head hurts, my foot hurts, whatever it is. And they want it fixed right away. And at times, what I have found, especially with home healthcare, is that there is a caller like you call up and they ask you to leave a message. And that makes no sense. And you don't know where your message is going or if anyone's going to get it. Why would you bother anymore? Why do you bother leaving messages? It's now text, it's now instant chat, it's now instantaneous. People want an instant interaction. They don't want to wait for somebody to call them back. Now, granted, there are a lot of older people who are used to that and they're not used to having an automated assistant right away. The people that are making the decisions for their parents or their grandparents or their loved ones are the people that are younger and they are used to having an automated assistant to work with them. Just to clarify, this automated assistant here is the one I was just talking to, and it has a model and it speaks with the system prompt. And you prompt that model and you massage that model. It's not going to come out the first time perfect. It just won't. You have to listen to it, try it again, listen to it, change this, listen to it, change that. You're always changing this up. And as you move forward in your business, you're going to keep changing it up. And this is like the training of a person. They're going to know exactly how to answer the phones, but that doesn't mean that they're going to show up at 2 o'clock in the morning when somebody's calling. And that doesn't mean that they're going to be there forever. They might find another job. This takes the place of having to keep training somebody. And as you keep training this, it gets smarter and smarter. And that's where it goes on its own. And you just allow it to do what it needs to do because you've trained it up well. I want to share with you exactly what I did. I set this up as my assistant, and you can see the difference. First thing is you're going to need your system prompt. My idea is probably just model a system prompt and do something really simple in the very beginning and use AI to do that. That's how I would do it. Now, the next thing is your integration. And that's what I really want to go over today is how do you get this to book your call? How do you get it to see your Google Calendar and book that call for you, get that email for you? Inside of more down here, there's integrations. This is where I made my first mistake. Now, next time I do this, I'm not going to make this mistake. I'm going to rebuild this with a different Gmail address, and I'm going to create a whole new account with Vapi. And I'll tell you why. Here is why. If I press talk to the assistant, you see this error down here? It's telling me that there's a tool ID that that does not exist, that it's calling. And I'm going to show you what I mean by tool ID because you're going to see it in this little area over here on the left-hand side. It says tools right underneath assistants. That tool ID is cached inside of the system and I can't get rid of it. I have to get a support ticket in and yada, yada, yada. And how many days or weeks, we don't know. I'm going to show you exactly how to fix your Google Calendar integration with Vapi. That's all this is about because I want to make this simple and easy. We're in assistance. We are looking at the assistant prompt. We are picking the provider. We're picking the model. And then down here, I just want to show you one more thing here in the voice configuration. You can choose different voice configurations. You can add in your OpenAI voice configuration, your 11 Labs, whatever you want to use, or you can just use Vapi voice. And there are different voices that you can choose here. I want to share with you right now how to integrate the Google Calendar that it has an ability to book your calls and access your calendar. That's where we had the problem. We didn't have the problem with the prompt. here. We didn't have the problem with the system prompt. We didn't have the problem with anything else. We had a problem with the tool that's integrated with the calendar. And I want to share that with you. Here's how I did that. I went to more and integrations. And in integrations, what I did, a control F, and I searched for Google Calendar that I don't have to scroll all over the place. Now you can look, this integrates with Slack and Go High Level, etc. You can integrate with a lot of other things, but I wanted an integration with Google Calendar. It's integrated right now. And when it's not integrated, you're going to press connect, and then it's going to take you to an OAuth screen where you're going to give it that access to your calendar. You're going to give it all access to your calendar because it needs it. It needs to read it. It needs to write it so they can book the call. You can't just do it like, oh, I just want to give it a little bit. No, you have to give it all. That's the thing, is if you don't want the calendar that you're using to be the calendar that you're giving access to, then don't use that calendar. The tool that you want to connect is the Google Calendar down here. And you can see it at the very bottom of the screen. And fortunately, let me just see if I can make this a little bit smaller. Yeah, there we go. So here's the Google Calendar. You see it here. When you're sharing this screen, you want to go to Google Calendar here, and then you're going to create the event and check the availability. Now, you want to do one first before the other. You want to check availability first before you create the event. I wish they would turn this around, because the check availability is exactly what they're going to do before they book the call. So you're going to check availability. That's the create tool. You see the tool is now being created here. And what I do is I just put check availability. And then this is going to say check availability for time on calendar and date for the customer. The calendar ID is optional, but I highly recommend you doing that, because what I found is when I didn't do that, all of this started happening. And so make sure that you're using the correct calendar ID. If you start Vapi with a different Gmail address, let's say you start it with abc@gmail.com, and then you want to use def@gmail.com, I would recommend you're starting it with the Gmail account that you want to use the calendar for. And if the Gmail account is using it with a workspace account, then whatever the workspace account is that you started using the Gmail account with. So you can just Google this, how to get your calendar ID. It's really simple. In the time zone, you definitely want your time zone. So I'm going to put in my time zone here. And you definitely want to specify the time zone. You're going to need your calendar ID and your time zone. And then you're going to save this. And you can see this is the tool ID. This is your check availability tool ID right here. So if you are like me, I take this as a note and I put it into my notes, and I put check availability tool ID so that I know which tool ID, which I didn't do the last time. That's why I was able to track which tool ID was the wrong ID that it's pulling. You saw the error, and it is requesting a tool ID. But the tool ID doesn't even exist anymore. It's deleted. Obviously, there's a cache inside of their system that doesn't delete the IDs right away. That's the only thing I can think of. We're at Google Calendar. I digressed. We're at check availability. We're going to save this, and then we're going to go and create the new tool, and that's going to be create event. So you want to create this event inside your calendar after you've checked the availability. Create event. And then this one's going to say, book the call or the appointment with the customer. I'm just putting book the call or the appointment with the customer. That's all. And then I'm putting in my time zone again, because you got to specify your time zone, and then again, your calendar ID. So you're going to need that calendar ID, save it, and you'll have a success down here. This is the simplest way to get your Google Calendar to integrate with Vapi. It does work. I know it does. I've seen it work. But the unfortunate part is, if you don't do this the correct way the first time and you delete these, there is going to be potential problems with the technical part, because I believe what's happening is this doesn't clear out. if you create this event and this is your tool ID and you delete this event and create a new one, the old tool ID stays with the account. That's what I believe. And I think that's what's happening. It's caching the old tool IDs or the old IDs, and it expects you to get this right the first time. So this is a way to save yourself a lot of time. Make sure you're checking your IDs. Try not to delete a lot of stuff in here. Once you get it in, make sure that you get it in and save it. So that's why I say make a test account to find out where you're going to make your errors. And then from that point forward, you can use the account that you really want to use without having any problems because you don't have any errors anymore. You know exactly what to do. And this will help you also with your assistant because you'll be able to talk to the assistant and see what the assistant says. Now, I can't talk to my assistant, like I said, because you can see the error down here, but we can talk to Riley. And all you do to talk to it is just press Talk Assistant and it will start
Thank you for
prompting
calling
you.
Wellness Partners.
Okay.
This is Riley, your scheduling assistant.
So
How may I
now,
help you today?
hi, Riley. I would like to make an appointment.
I'd be happy to help you with scheduling. What type of appointment are you looking to schedule today?
So you can see that you can use this for all types of things. If you have a new course going on and you want people to sign up for the new course, you could have a voice assistant talk to them and answer all their FAQs. Even though your FAQs are on your page already, they want to be walked through this. They want to not have to read. They want to be prompted. People want that interaction. They miss that. So make it easy for them to interact with you after they find you. That's the whole point of this. I hope you learned something today and you were able to get something out of this. If so, buy me a coffee. My link is below. Thank you very much. Or join my free community that I'm going to be starting. DM me for all the information about that. I'm going to have a free community for women who are using AI and they are learning how to set all of this up and they need some help. And that's what I am going to set up for the women who are starting their businesses over or who are looking for that help in AI that's a little bit more technical and a lot more flow. So I'm going to be teaching AI assistants. I'm going to be sharing with you how I set up assistants and also how I set up the flows in N8N so that I can automate not only my content, but my videos. I'm going to show you how I'm doing that. And I'll walk you through as I set mine up so you can learn with me. And that's going to be the biggest part because when we all learn together, it makes it so much easier to be less in that state of fight or flight and more in the state of community and sharing and being a part of something that's a lot bigger than all of us. I hope you join. DM me for any of the information, or you can buy me a coffee or do both and leave me a nice message. I would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.